understanding connection through awareness and presence. Do you remember a moment when passion was ignited without words, a simple touch, an unspoken gesture, an invitation into something deeper? These are not mere coincidences, they are signals, messages carried by the body in ways most overlook. Some believe that intimacy is purely instinctual, that it happens naturally. Yet, those who understand the subtleties of connection know that mastery comes through awareness, patience, and presence. Most fail to recognize these silent forms of communication. Many stumble blindly through moments of intimacy, unaware of the immense potential within the smallest of gestures. Only a select few possess the wisdom to see beyond the surface, to listen to what is unspoken, and to act with precision and care. This is not about manipulation or empty techniques. It is about understanding. True intimacy is an art, and those who refine their understanding of the body and mind forge relationships built on something far greater than fleeting passion. The human body holds countless areas of heightened sensitivity, yet few take the time to explore them with wisdom. Today we unveil 10 powerful zones of connection, not merely as places of pleasure, but as gateways to trust, presence, and deeper bonds. Mastery of these areas does not come from mere action, but from the intention behind it. Those who approach with care, patience, and attentiveness will always stand apart from those who rush mindlessly forward. 1. Lips, the language of connection. The lips are not just for speaking. They are one of the most sensitive parts of the body, teeming with nerve endings that make them highly responsive to touch. A kiss is never just a kiss. It is a message, a declaration, a silent conversation between two souls. Science confirms what the wise have always known. A single kiss triggers the release of oxytocin, the hormone of trust and attachment. It strengthens bonds, deepens attraction, and creates an invisible thread that pulls two people closer together. But a kiss without awareness is an empty gesture. Those who understand its power know that the difference between an ordinary kiss and one that lingers in the mind is presence. The softness, the timing, the eye contact, all of it speaks louder than words. A well-placed kiss, a deliberate pause before lips meet, or even the teasing absence of touch can build anticipation far stronger than any rushed attempt at passion. The wise understand that patience breeds intensity. Mastering the lips is not about the act itself, but about the moment leading up to it. 2. Neck, the gateway to anticipation. The neck is a bridge between the physical and the emotional, an area of immense sensitivity often left unexplored. Thin-skinned, delicate, and close to the ears and face, the neck is a canvas where even the lightest touch can send waves of sensation through the body. It is a reminder that intimacy is not about force, but finesse. A hand gently placed at the base of the neck conveys security and control. A whisper, delivered just close enough for breath to be felt, can stir emotions stronger than any spoken words. A slow, deliberate touch along the collarbone speaks of intention without a single word being spoken. Those who rush past this area fail to understand its power. The difference between those who grasp this truth and those who do not is the ability to recognize that anticipation is often more powerful than the action itself. A single moment of restraint, of delaying the inevitable, builds tension far stronger than a hurried advance. Those who understand this master the art of presence. 3. Ears. The power of the whisper. The ears are more than instruments of hearing. They are zones of deep sensitivity, responding to sound, breath, and even the lightest touch. Few recognize their potential, yet those who do wield an almost effortless power. A whisper is not just a sound. It is an invasion of space, a deliberate step closer that forces attention. It can be as powerful as a touch, sometimes more. When one speaks softly near the ear, every word is amplified. Every breath becomes part of the message. The intimacy of a whisper is not in what is said, but in how it is delivered. The warmth, the nearness, the controlled tone. These elements create a sensation that lingers long after the words fade. A simple caress behind the ear, a kiss placed just where the jaw meets the lobe, or even the faintest exhale against the skin. These actions create ripples of sensation that reach beyond the physical. Those who master the ear understand that true connection is not always seen, but felt in the subtlest of ways. 4. Breasts and nipples. The art of patience. Here lies a paradox. A place of immense sensitivity and pleasure, yet one that demands the highest degree of patience and attentiveness. Many fail because they do not understand that intimacy is not about conquest, but about reverence. Rushing forward is the mark of inexperience. Those who understand this know that true mastery comes from slowing down. The skin here is rich with nerve endings, responding to temperature, pressure, and movement. But the secret lies not in constant touch, but in controlled variation, alternating between contact and absence, between firm attention and the slightest tease. The wise know that unpredictability heightens sensation. Above all, attentiveness is key. Intimacy is never a one-sided act. To touch with awareness is to observe, to listen, to adjust with every breath, every shift, every unspoken response. This is not about technique, but about the ability to remain present in the moment. 5. Inner thighs. The silent invitation. This is where patience is tested. The inner thighs are a region of immense sensitivity. Yet they are not to be claimed, but explored with respect. They are close to the center of desire, yet remain a threshold that should never be crossed carelessly. Those who act without thought fail to recognize the power of anticipation. A touch here is never just a touch, it is a message, one that either reassures or unsettles. Done well, it builds trust, creates expectation, and signals understanding. Done poorly, it betrays impatience and self-interest. The most powerful moments are often those that linger just before the final step is taken. A slow, deliberate trace of the fingertips. A pause filled with intention, a careful awareness of the response received. These are the marks of one who understands that true intimacy is not in rushing forward, but in knowing exactly when to hold back. The foundation of connection. At this point, the pattern should be clear. Every touch, every glance, every moment of silence or anticipation carries meaning. Those who see only the surface will always wonder why their efforts feel hollow, why something always seems missing. But those who understand that presence is everything, that patience, awareness, and attentiveness create the deepest bonds, will always hold an advantage. This is not about tricks, it is about wisdom. A great leader does not command through force, but through presence and understanding. The same is true in relationships. Those who master the subtleties of connection, who understand that silence can be more powerful than words, and that the slightest touch can hold more meaning than any grand gesture, will always be remembered. Intimacy is not a game of chance. It is an art form, a skill that few take the time to master. Those who stumble blindly, seeking only to satisfy themselves, will never understand the depth of what is possible. But those who recognize that connection is built on patience, presence, and awareness will forge something lasting, something beyond the fleeting moments of passion that so many chase. In Part 1, we explored 5 powerful areas of connection, each revealing that intimacy is not merely about action, but about the intention behind every gesture. We now continue this journey, uncovering 5 more zones of heightened sensitivity and the wisdom required to truly understand them. 6. The lower back, the unspoken assurance. The lower back is a place of subtle but undeniable power. It is where security is felt, where a simple touch can communicate reassurance, control, and connection. This is why an arm wrapped around the lower back in a crowded room can provide an immediate sense of safety, a silent statement that says, "I am here." Those who fail to recognize this rely only on words to convey their presence. But the wise understand that actions speak louder. A firm, steady hand resting at the lower back creates a bridge of trust, a signal that requires no explanation. It is not about possession, but about presence. This is where strength meets tenderness. A guiding touch, a slow trace of the fingertips, or even the warmth of a resting hand. Each movement tells a story. Those who understand this know that sometimes the most powerful moments are the ones that do not need to be spoken. 7. The hands, the hidden language of connection. Many overlook the hands, dismissing them as mere tools of utility. But in truth, the hands are a gateway to the soul. They express what words often cannot. A touch of the fingers, an interlacing of hands, or even the subtlest brush of the palm can ignite emotions stronger than the most passionate of embraces. Science has proven what the wise have always known. Holding hands synchronizes heartbeats, reduces stress, and strengthens the bond between two people. But it is not the act alone that carries meaning. It is how it is done. A loose, careless grip conveys disinterest. A firm, deliberate hold speaks of certainty. A slow, teasing glide of fingertips before fingers intertwine builds anticipation far greater than a rushed grasp. The greatest mistake is to assume that intimacy begins in the obvious places. In truth, it often begins with the hands. Those who master the art of touch in the smallest ways will find that every other form of connection deepens effortlessly. 8. The FT, the forgotten pathway. Most ignore the feet, failing to see them as anything more than a means of movement. But those who understand the intricacies of the body know that they hold immense sensitivity. The feet contain thousands of nerve endings, making them one of the most receptive areas of the body to touch. A simple massage, a slow and deliberate trace along the sole, or even a gentle grip of the ankle can create sensations that ripple far beyond expectation. It is not about focusing on the feet alone, but about recognizing that the smallest details often hold the greatest power. Above all, attention to the feet is an act of care, of devotion. It is a reminder that true intimacy is not about prioritizing the obvious, but about honoring the whole. Those who take the time to explore even the forgotten places will always stand apart from those who remain blind to the deeper layers of connection. 9. The stomach and hips, the center of trust. Here lies a space of vulnerability, a place where tension and comfort meet. The stomach is where emotions manifest, where anxiety tightens and relaxation softens. A touch here is more than physical. It is psychological, carrying the weight of security or hesitation. The hips, on the other hand, are a center of movement, of rhythm, of balance. They are where energy gathers, where unspoken signals of confidence and desire are transmitted. Those who understand this do not approach carelessly. A touch to the waist, a guiding hand along the curve of the hip, or even a slow, steady press against the lower abdomen. All of these gestures carry messages deeper than words. The wise know that true connection is not about taking, but about giving. It is about reading the response, understanding what is unspoken, and ensuring that every touch builds rather than diminishes trust. Those who master this will never struggle to create closeness, for they will know that intimacy is as much about the mind as it is about the body. 10. The back of the knees, the unexpected catalyst. Few consider this area, yet it is among the most responsive parts of the body. The skin here is thin, the nerves close to the surface, making it highly receptive to the lightest of touches. A gentle stroke, a soft kiss, or even a fleeting brush of the fingertips can send shivers through the entire body. But its power is not just in the sensation it creates. It is in the unexpected nature of the touch. The back of the knees is not an area that many anticipate, making any attention given to it feel novel, intriguing, and unpredictable. The greatest mistake one can make in intimacy is to become predictable. Routine dulls passion, surprise reignites it. Those who explore what others ignore will always hold an advantage, for they understand that connection is not about following a script, but about remaining present, adaptable, and aware. The mastery of connection. We have now explored 10 powerful zones of intimacy, but let this be clear, mastery is not about memorizing techniques. It is not about knowing where to touch, but about understanding how and why. The greatest mistake is to assume that passion alone is enough. It is not. Passion fades without awareness. Connection weakens without presence. Those who move through intimacy thoughtlessly, who act only for themselves, will always wonder why their efforts feel incomplete. But those who approach with patience, who recognize that anticipation is as powerful as action, and who understand that silence, space, and stillness are as crucial as movement, these are the ones who will create something lasting. True mastery is not about control, but about understanding. It is about knowing when to move forward and when to hold back, when to give and when to pause, when to speak and when to remain silent. The difference between the ordinary and the unforgettable is never in the obvious. It is in the details, in the awareness, in the ability to see what others overlook. Those who grasp this truth will never be forgotten.